Hello my new friends, let us go through the 7 most commonly found misconceptions about neuroframes. Neuroframes has 6 models from the second highest pricing tier upwards. 3 of those are all-rounder models, this is what we call them. They can depict anything you could ever wish for. The other 3 are specialists. So if you want photorealistic stuff, analog photography, beautiful analog photography, or manga, comic, those models got you covered. For the other ones, choose an all-rounder model, experiment a little bit, which one you like the most. Due to how these models are trained, if objects get very small, for instance faces, they sometimes look horrible because they lose all the detail and everything looks a bit mushy. I mean, what is this? What is this? That's just the way it is with Stable Diffusion at the moment. The way to circumvent this is to keep faces relatively big on the screen. For instance, you could add portrait photography or something like that, and you get beautiful, astonishing, ultra realistic faces. By the way, these would probably also be nice inputs for the prompt, but I didn't, yeah, whatever. Another drawback of how these models are trained is they are not trained with 16:9 or 9:16 format. We still add this format because a lot of people like it, but keep in mind, this is kind of pushing Stable Diffusion above to where it's comfortable. Very often it will add objects just like that. Here we say 1 dog, but we see 2 or even 3 dogs jumping next to each other. I mean, that's still kind of cute, you could be happy with that. One solution is to put the format to 4:3 instead of 16:9. Usually the models perform better with 4:3. Also, you could add stuff in the negative prompt, for instance 2 or double, and try to circumvent the appearance of 2 objects with that, but it doesn't always work. Also, I found that some models are worse than others when it comes to the double object phenomenon. For instance, here we have the Dream Shaper model with 16:9, and it actually works kind of well. It's kind of 1 dog except for what's this, and also, yeah, I'm not sure. But the Dream Shaper works in this case a little bit better. If you train a custom model on yourself or on some other object or person, the way these models are trained is they know the complete dictionary of words of basically all language that appears in the internet. So when we train the custom models, we are left with one question: how can we tell the model who this object is? We cannot say Barack Obama because the model will know who Barack Obama is, okay? So we come up with a word that basically doesn't appear anywhere on the internet, and in this case this is SKS. So if you use a custom model, you need to enter SKS person or SKS object or SKS man or SKS woman, depending on your liking here, and then it will know who to depict. In this case, I trained the model on myself, and look at this beautiful pixel art gangster version of myself. I wish I would look like that. One other thing that I often see is you have certain standard settings, and then you have this beautiful cat, and you have a certain movement of the camera. But what you see is we lose the cat because the movement of the camera. Here we are in the chill movement style, and if we were in loco, it would be even worse. One way to circumvent this is to go to the manual camera settings. So either you can add another box here with the same settings and then hope that the direction reverses. This can happen, it's a 50-50 chance. Or you go to the manual settings and now you say actually, yes, I want to move upwards. So you put here 0.2 for instance. As you can see with these settings, we are actually now moving the camera upwards again, and the cat comes closer to the center. Control over the camera is what separates the pros from the beginners in neuroframes. Speaking of control over the camera, oftentimes when people want to change the direction, they just change it here. For instance, now they could go, I want to rotate in the other direction and just render from here. That is totally fine and possible, but what you will notice is you have a sudden jump in the velocity, which is usually not what you actually want. As you can see here, the orientation just flips. The much cleaner way to do this is to actually shorten this prompt window, add a new one here. Now here the rotation is minus 0.3, and now we go in this one to plus 0.3, and this little prompt fade in between these two boxes will then smoothen the transition from one velocity to the other, and you will actually have a very nice camera movement. As you can see, with these type of settings you are able to generate very smooth transitions between two camera settings. Obviously you can make this longer or shorter just as you want, but it's generally desirable to have a certain prompt fade window there. One last thing, you can actually change the length of the videos by going to this 30 here and changing it. I hope you know that. So you can generate videos up to 5 minutes at the moment. If you need longer ones, just let me know. Thanks a lot and happy rendering. Peace.